From LALATE News headquarters in Santa Monica, this is the Midday Report on LALATE.
It's a big noontime here on LALATE with incredible great news about your fourth stimulus check update in 2021. In this recording, we'll go over the breaking news at noontime, and there's a lot of it, with a voting happening in the next 24 hours. In fact, the next 8 hours. Oh my goodness. We'll be going over that fourth stimulus check update of 2021 in this recording. We'll be going over why those Democrats are likely to give you more months of checks. Then we go to the second part of this video, to the recon. Done deal. $3.5 trillion of checks are coming to the American people. This is you. This is the single biggest payout we've seen in nearly a generation, says Bernie Sanders. A lot of checks, 3.5 trillion of them, and I'll be going over them in the second half of this video. Then we cut to the voting, and one of the two paths will be done in the Senate by tonight. What? I have the breaking news that happened just minutes ago. Oh my goodness, I told you it was a big noontime broadcast. Then we cut to fist stimulus, which raised your benefits up a lifetime. And then we cut to the big money that viewers are continuing to get. Nearly $32,000 viewers are getting from this channel. All of all that and more on a big noontime with a lot of breaking news direct from Congress. This is Noontime at LALATE. Hey, good news out there, everybody. How you doing? Hope you're having a beautiful week. We're almost to the weekend, and guess what? We're almost to the finish line as well. Thank you for joining me. And how's the weather where you are? It is beautiful here in Southern California. A little bit warmer than it should be, but a little bit warmer than yesterday at least. But it's still gorgeous. Tell me where you're tuning in from and how's the weather. In this fourth stimulus check updated 2021 at noontime, we have the breaking news about this. First, the monthly stimulus checks and why the Democrats are likely to give you more months of checks. Then we cut to the recon. A done deal. $3.5 trillion of checks are coming to you in the fourth stimulus recon. The single biggest payout of a generation. Checks for all walks of life, including you. I have the latest details in that part of the video. Then in the third part, we go over the voting, and one of the paths will be going to a final vote by tonight. Wait a second, what happened? I have the latest details in the final 15 minutes of this video. Stay with me to the final 15. It's all breaking news happening minutes ago. Then we cut to fifth stimulus, which raised your benefits up. It's lifetime benefits for SSI and SSDI. And finally, this. Wow. $32,000 has been gotten by Nancy and Mark from watching this channel as an LALATE viewer and a member. And Nisi got $23,000. I'll show you how you get this big money as well. And this is LALATE, America's only 24-hour day, 7 days a week financial news channel in America. Live in the morning, like right now, direct from Santa Monica, and taped in the afternoons. Coming up next is the afternoons LA throwback from earlier this week at 1 o'clock. Stay with this video, it'll automatically take you there. And then a new LALATE afternoons at 3 o'clock, and then a new evenings LA with the latest breaking news from Capitol Hill at 5. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. I want you part of this family. Hit that subscribe button. Share these videos on Facebook, Reddit, and Instagram as well. Hit that subscribe button right now. Like the video, 3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. Let's cut to the breaking news, starting with that monthly stimulus check right now. House and Senate, Senate and House. Both monthly stimulus checks, just different number of checks and different payouts. Let's go over everything you need to know, starting right now. House, pandemic plus 1 year. Senate, July to December. Let's go over the payouts. House, $1,000 after the first month of 2,000. Senate, monthly unknown, but word on the street is the Senate would pay you this deliciousness. $2,000 over 6 months, $12,000, or $1,400 over 6 months, $8,400. When they wrote this legislation, we thought that maybe they would consider the pandemic over 5 weeks ago, but the pandemic ain't over. Now with Delta Plus and now with Lambda, there's concerns the pandemic is far from over. And that means that the House bill would likely pay the full amount of the bill, which is pandemic plus 1 year. That calculates to over 1 year of checks, which would be more than 12 checks because there's 12 months of the year, which would equate to more than $13,000 from the House. So let's compare that to this and the Senate. I think you have an opinion. I think you have an opinion. Jump in the live chat right now and vote House or Senate, House or Senate, and tell me where you're tuning in from at noontime. And how's the weather? Who gets this fourth stimulus check? You do. The Democrats represent. They represent that if you got a third stimulus check, you get a fourth stimulus check. Democrats represent that a fourth stimulus check will be coming to single individuals, 75,000 or less. Democrats represent that married couples, 150,000 or less, we get it, double it. And Democrats represent a family of four, we get it as well, quadruple it. Final view on benefits, Democrats represent, you would get one, SSI, SSDI, and more. The fourth stimulus check is not income, it's not taxable. The fourth stimulus check would be the same amount for adult dependents and everyone else. And the fourth stimulus check is not a waivable check. And yet I was at the surf shop and there was the check. I had not seen him for a week. I guess he was enjoying the waves. Even though he's not a waivable check. I said, hello, check, how are you? It could not wave back. Was trying on the new wetsuit that came out. The new waivable wetsuit. Did not wave back. Rude check. It's not a rude check. It's just not a waivable check. And yet, Mitch McConnell may try to wave at it, but that's only if it comes with some lobsters. Coming up later in this video, we'll be going over the second part of this video, which is the recon. Done deal. Nancy Pelosi and Bernie Sanders calls this a historic day for the American people. The biggest payout of checks you're ever going to see in the history of this channel. $3.5 trillion of checks are coming to the American people. This is you. This is seniors. This is workers. I'll have all the details coming up in the second half of this video. Then in the final 15 minutes of this video, oh boy, stay to the very end. It's all breaking minutes ago. One of the bodies of legislation is going to a final vote tonight? When did that happen? Meantime, Leader Schumer confirmed in a statement just minutes ago that both the recon and the bipartisan will be done by the August recess. Yes, he said it again in a brand new quote, happening just at noontime today. But first, there's fifth stimulus, which also heats up this fall, raising your benefits up if you're on SSI and SSDI. And finally, let's get some money. Oh boy, I'm excited to get some money. Get a pen and paper ready. Get a pen and paper ready because I'm going to show you how to get some rent, utilities, food, internet, mortgage assistance, and homeowners assistance. Because boy, it's incredible. I started recording these videos a few weeks ago. I said I can get you about 4 to 6 months of rent, about $5,000. I'm sorry, I was wrong. I can't get you $5,000. I can get you $27,000. Wow, congratulations, Elizabeth got $27,000 of rent by being a member and a Purple Power viewer and a viewer of LALATE and a subscriber. Her achievements we all have to celebrate. In fact, we're going to celebrate everyone. Mark got $25,000. Nancy got $24,000 for rent. Richard, $22,000. Nisi, $20,000. Then there's Pamela, got $12,000 for rent. Carla got utilities, and Tiffany got rent and SNAP. Tiffany got over $15,000. Randy got almost $8,000, which includes rent and utilities. Jennifer got rent and lights and utilities and SNAP. And Cecilia got money as well. Oh my goodness. Then when we talked about utilities, I said I can get you $300 of utilities. $300 of utilities? I was wrong. I can't get you $300 of utilities, but I can get you $7,000 of utilities. Wow, Nancy, congratulations for watching the videos of this channel. She got $7,000, and Mark got $6,500 of utilities, and Angela got $5,000. And then when I talked about SNAP, I said I can get you $5,000 to $6,000 of SNAP because some viewers got it. No longer the case because viewers are getting $18,000. Louis, congratulations. And John, $10,000 to $12,000 for SNAP. This is money for food. And Nancy for $5,000. What is the grand total? What are the big payouts that viewers are getting across the board from multiple items? Are you ready? Here you go. $32,000 Nancy got from this channel. Mark got $32,000. Nisi, $23,000. I am just overwhelmed with excitement and elated for you. Congratulations. And this is LALATE. This is what we do on this channel. We cash checks. We don't track checks. In spring of last year, the EIDL loan and EIDL grant was supposed to come in 3 days under the law, but we did not hold up a calendar or in the comments post every day. It's been 3 days. It's been 4 days. It's been 5 days. It's been 6 days. We didn't say when, because it wasn't coming. Couldn't track it, but I stepped forward and I got viewers $25 million of EIDL loans for them. Save their homes, their businesses, and their employees' homes. And then in fall of 2020, we had the same problem. Second stimulus wasn't coming. It wasn't coming. And there was no check to track, but I stepped forward and I got viewers $250,000 of rent. Family of four out of Boston, Tyrone got $15,000 from this channel, paid all his rent from now to the spring, and you're doing it again right now. The only difference is your numbers are incredible. So get a pen and paper ready. I'm going to show you how to get all this big money right now. I'm going to show you different places to reach out to. Each place has different eligibility. So if one says no, reach out to the next. Also, they have their own pot of money. And finally, listen to the keywords I say in this video because the keywords are helping viewers get approved. Are you ready? Here you go. You're going to reach out to your city hall, your city housing authority, your county hall, your county housing authority, your state hall, your state housing authority. And the keywords you're going to say are rent assistance, because of COVID, rent or mortgage assistance because of COVID. You don't say words they don't know, like stimulus or Kristen Sinema's fan club. Doesn't exist. And there you go. If you got money for rent and utilities, jump in the live chat right now. And Tim and Linda got as well. The next pot of the money is SNAP. Louis got $18,000 and Linda got it for herself, her son, and her mom, and Gail got it. If you got SNAP as well, post in the live chat. What is SNAP? SNAP is money for food. How do you get it? Department of Agriculture. How much does it pay? It pays a fortune. Eligibility is easier than a stimulus check. A family of four out of Hawaii, gets upwards of $16,000 a year. Wow, why so much money? Because of two wonderful executive orders, one from Biden, one from Trump, that raise your benefits up 15% between now and December. So go get it. We're killing it. You're killing it. We're only 11 minutes of this video. We're flying, and we've gotten $27,000 for rent, $7,000 for utilities, and $18,000 for SNAP. We're just getting started. Let's get to the next pot of the money. It's the refund check coming back from your states due to overpayment and computer error. Where's the landing? Direct deposit. How much? Let's say you had $3,000. Let's say you filed that you had unemployment benefits. Then that refund check is coming back to you due to computer error. One viewer had $3,000 come back for them. Another viewer got $5,000. Where direct deposit? Can you track it? Yeah. Contact your state. Say, hi, state. Where's that check due to overpayment and unemployment benefits? And when you track it this time with a computer, can you plug in the keyboard? And then finally, the refund check coming back from IRS. This is incredible, great news. Margaret got it, Cod got it, Michael got it. It's incredible. And let me tell you the details. Well, the checks are coming this month, and they're waivable checks. Don't tell Mitch, she's going to be very upset. Those waivable checks, in fact, have a number, and the IRS tells us the latest way the average payout is $1,265. Wow, deliciousness. Direct deposits started July 14th, and paper checks started July 16th. There are new refunds every week throughout the summer, and a new wave every week. But before we continue on that, let's go over something we need to discuss. Helping one another. That's this purple power spirit. And if you're in the live chat right now and have not posted your success story for rent, utilities, mortgage, or internet, post it right now. When you do, you embody the true spirit of loving viewers helping one another. 3 things happen when you post your success stories in the live chat. First, you inspire other people to get the big sums of money. So when they see you posting your success stories of Snap and Louie and John and Nancy, that inspires them, other viewers, to get these other sums of money. Number 2, when you see Art Sullivan or Nisi in the live chat posting or on the graphic posting that they got 3 items or Nancy got 3 items, inspires you to get all 3 as well. So if you only got 1, now you should be inspired to get 3 of them. Mark got 2 of them and got 32,000. So Mark get 1 more. Let's get to 40,000. Just kidding. And then it also updates us about the incredible sums of money. All right, let's go back to that unemployment benefits. Where? Well, otherwise in the mail or direct deposit. When? This month. How much? Let's say you had $9,000 of unemployment benefits, of which you paid $5,000 of taxes. $4,000 was your taxes on unemployment benefits. Congratulations, you're getting back $4,000. When can you track it? Yeah, go to irs.gov, do a transcript search, and 70% of the time it'll work. It will reveal the tax return you filed and the taxes you paid. It also reveals stuff you never wanted to know, stuff you never knew that existed and you sort of wish you forgot. It'll sort of reveal, it may reveal when Mitch was on Star Search and he sung that lullaby song to Chuck. Was it Slave to You by Britney? And finally, it'll reveal 70% of the time the refund check you're getting. Can we top that? Yes. As we go into the second part of your 4 stimulus check update 2021 starting right now. Deal done. $3.5 trillion of checks are coming to the American people. This is the recon, and these are checks of a historic magnitude. You should be ecstatic. Bernie Sanders fought a generation to get you these checks, and these are checks for you. All walks of life for you. As you see this video, And you'll see throughout this video, it doesn't matter what a check is called so long as you get it. If you get a check of $30,000, that's $30,000 less of bills you have to pay. That's $30,000 less of bills you have sitting around. If you get $20,000 to pay for something, who cares what it is? It's $20,000. We're not playing the name game here. We're playing the cashing game. And how do they reach this incredible achievement? By shrinking the recon, which originally had roads and bridges in there. They took them out and put it into something called the bipartisan. Once the roads and bridges were taken out of the recon and put into the bipartisan, both the bipartisan and the recon became passable. And guess what? They're both going to pass in the next few days. Yes, that's what Leader Schumer is representing minutes ago. Wow. Let's get to the details. First, a conservative publication confirms my reporting in a wonderful op-ed. The higher the price tag was on the recon originally, the harder it was to pass. There you go, confirmation. By allowing the Democrats to take out some of the spending from the recon, roads and bridges, and put it into the bipartisan, it made the overall price tag of the recon smaller, obviously. In other words, the bipartisan deal made the recon passable. But it's also vice versa. The recon also made the bipartisan passable. And guess what? Chuck Schumer confirms that both of them will be passed into law by the August recess. And we have breaking news about what Chuck Schumer said about this minutes ago as well, coming up in the third part of this video. How do we get to this spot? By shrinking the recon, the Democrats and progressives were able to add more back in, and that brought us to the big number of $3.5 trillion, exactly where the progressives wanted us to land. They wanted a big number. Representative Ilhan Omar had previously said, we need a recon that goes as far as we want it. You got it, Elon, $3.5 trillion. And then Representative Richie Torres said, we need to have a larger recon bill. You got it, Richie, $3.5 trillion. And the Progressive Caucus was meeting with the White House daily to ensure they got a big enough recon. They got it, $3.5 trillion. How did they achieve this? Because the White House had told the Democratic progressives everything in the recon is you and me, progressive policies. Jalopal and Brian Schatz, Democrat progressive, all confirmed the following quote. They say that the White House told them the White House considers the progressive priorities in the recon the White House's own priorities. Wow, that's incredible, great news. So what is a recon? What is a bipartisan? What is the difference and what are the price tags? Let's go over the details, starting with the names. I tuned into a broadcast this morning with one of my favorite, dearest, wonderful shows to watch. And I watched Andrew Ross Sorkin, and he referred to the recon as the $3.5 trillion infrastructure. No, it's not infrastructure. The bipartisan is the infrastructure. So let's go over the words so you know them, because they can be confusing if you hear them somewhere else and you get confused. I use two terms in this trial: recon, your money, and bipartisan. But there are other terms that the president uses as well. Let's go over all of them right now. Recon is also called reconciliation, also called the budget bill. Price tag $3.5 trillion. People quoting an article about it are a Bernie or an AOC or a Nancy. Bipartisan is also called infrastructure, also called roads and bridges. Price tag less than $1.5 trillion. People quote an article about it are a Kristen Sinema, Ron Portman, or a Mitt Romney. All right, that's pretty easy. Let's go over who writes a recon. A recon is written by Democrats for Democrats to be passed by Democrats. You're going to see later in this video further clarification about this, but again, not a single Republican has anything to do with the recon, and 100% of Republicans will vote against the recon. The Democrats have all 50 of 50 Democrats to pass it, and it will pass. So that's who writes the recon. Who actually puts pen and paper together, though? It's the House subcommittees, and there are not a lot of people in that subcommittee. The Senate subcommittees help them as well. Under the Constitution, the House subcommittees are delegated different subject matters. So, for example, House Ways and Means is responsible for writing about stimulus checks and extensive unemployment benefits. When those subcommittees are done, they combine their pages, send them up to Chuck, and let's say it's 10 subcommittees and 10 pages. He combines it with 100 pages, puts a big S on those 100 pages for sugar-coated, salty, seductive, Schumerish, Laverne and Shirley. No, Senate, and that is your recon. When we see the recon, we see it, and that's when we have an emoji for it. Not law yet. Later in this video, I'm going to go over why the Democrats vow to modify it and why that's great news for you. But at the moment, it's not bill yet. We have an emoji for that yet as well. Not bill yet. This is important. This is what broadcast media and myself both say, that we don't have the bill yet. Why? Because there's no rule of transparency on the Constitution. The subcommittees don't have to show you what they're writing, what they're not writing, what they're taking in, what they're taking out. And until they debut it, we don't have it. pretty easy. So if you see a naysayer says, I haven't heard of this, well, guess what? You haven't heard of it because it hasn't been released. And you won't see it until it's released. It's sort of like a pop singer who has an upcoming album. She doesn't want to release the songs on the album ahead of time or have you hear them ahead of time until it's released. The reason why is because she doesn't want Mitch McConnell going back on Star Search and performing. Can we top that? We can. As Jalopal recently wrote, Schumer and Lair saying, call the vote on the recon. Guess what, folks? He's calling the vote on the recon. It's coming up in the final 15 minutes of this video. And who also co-signs that letter? Over 12 House Democrats who are among the 100 plus who had written the president a letter days earlier saying that they're going to be putting monthly forced stimulus checks in the forced stimulus package. Wow, Purple Power. You got to keep those people their promise. Keep on pushing on social media. Hashtag MSC, hashtag Purple Power. Can we top that? Yes. As 7 members of the House Subcommittee, House Ways and Means, the same one you went over? Yep. Recently wrote the president a letter saying we're going to be putting monthly fourth stimulus checks in the fourth stimulus package. Wow, Purple Power. That is a big promise. You have to keep these people their promise. They're promising you monthly fourth stimulus checks. Can we top that? Yes, we can. As the president got it done with a global rate just days ago. He went overseas about 6 weeks ago for a ceremonial signature, but he did the formal signature just a few days ago. What is it called? It's a very exhausting thing. Every time I say it, I want to take a nap. The global minimum corporate tax rate minimum, SNEEP. It's just exhausting to say that. And why is this great news? Because this exhausting thing is not in the recon. Number one, easier write the recon because this confusing thing is not in there. Easier call the vote on the recon because this confusing thing is not in there. Easier vote on the recon because this confusing thing is not in there. And easier pass the recon because this confusing thing is not in there. And can we top that? We can. The final 15 minutes of this noontime broadcast live from Santa Monica is categorically off the chain. You are going to be shocked. One of the two paths, recon and bipartisan, they're now saying we'll go to a final vote tonight. What? Which one? And is recon still going first? And what did Chuck Schumer say about recon and bipartisan minutes ago? And are they getting them both done by the August recess? Yes, says Chuck Schumer. I have all the breaking news, and there's a lot happening in just the last few minutes. This is all new stuff I did not even have on Mornings in LA. Stay with me. It's coming up in just a second. Also, we cut to fist stimulus as well. But something more wonderful than that, the volunteers. If you need help with rent, utilities, food, or internet, reach out to them. Where are they? Where are you? In the description of this video. Go to the description, open the description, you'll see an emoji of a house, not Nancy's. Click the link, it'll send you over to the community page. news.la.com/community. On the community page are volunteers separated from Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Reach out to them. They'll help you get that big money for rent, utilities, and more. Here's a little bit about them. I'll be back in 60 seconds with the breaking news on Noontime. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on Mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And the excitement continues right now at noontime on LA. The incredible details across the board as one of the two paths, recon and bipartisan, is reportedly going to a final vote tonight. What went on? it's just a little bit overwhelming. It's coming up in just a second in the final 15 minutes of this video. There's a lot happening, and I'm going to sort of swim through this sea of legislation because there's a lot of things moving in parts in just the last few minutes. Also coming up is fifth stimulus. But first, subscribe. 400,000 subscribers on YouTube recognize what you're part of this family. Hit that subscribe button. Fastest growing channel there is. 400,000 subscribers in 1 year. Next stop, 1 million. Hit that subscribe button. Like the video, 2,000-3,000 likes. And stay on this channel. This video will automatically take you to Afternoons LA's next show at 1 o'clock. It's a throwback show from early this week. And then we go into the new Afternoons LA show at 3 o'clock. Then a new Evenings LA Tonight, which may have the breaking news about what's happening as well. Let's cut to what's going on with the president. He said when he was campaigning on the campaign trail that he was going to raise your benefits up if you're on SSI and SSDI. He did not deliver. So then during the transition papers, he said he was going to do it again. He did not deliver. So what happened? The Democratic senators and Democratic House members have stepped up, and they're going to take care of it for you in something that's called SSI reform. This is fifth stimulus. When is this? This is this fall. September starts legislating, and then you'll see this to a vote around November. Impact your bank account by November, then the benchmark in December, and that benchmark will impact your benefits next year. What are the elements? Let's go over them right now. First, they'll raise your benefits up lifetime. Then they'll remove the asset limit, add an inflationary benchmark, remove the income exclusion, and remove the marriage penalty. Let's go over the calculations and the breaking news of what happened economically on Wall Street today as well. First, they'll raise your benefits up lifetime. Who's you? You. If you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, veterans benefits, SSA, or multiple beneficiaries. You'll raise your benefits up one time. Then they'll apply the benchmark. When? In December. And what will that benchmark be? Inflation. Where's inflation going? It's going to be transitory. What does transitory mean? It's a fancy word from Jay Powell, head of the Federal Reserve, which means it's going to be a temporary short-term 1 month spike. When? December. Right when they apply our benchmark? Yes, this is great news. So how high is it going to go? I've been reporting 5%. Wall Street has been repeating my numbers well for that temporary 1 month spike. And we had a lot of economic data today and yesterday. First, yesterday, the new job creation number, which points to how many jobs were created in the private sector, was horrible. Very few jobs were created last month, an awful number. Today, we had the trade imbalance number released. Worst trade imbalance in a long time, showing we're importing a lot more than we're exporting. Then we had the new jobless claims number, which have been on this channel for over a year. You've seen this coverage every single day, every Thursday morning. What did the numbers show? Both numbers were great, but the second one number was astronomically great. First, before the pandemic, we had about 250,000 new jobless claims per week. Where did the number come in today? At about 300,000, the lowest number ever since the pandemic started. Still not at pre-pandemic levels, but the lowest number since pre-pandemic levels. Number two, this is the big number. This is the huge, great achievement. We had seen continuing jobless claims of 14 million, then 8 million, then 5 million. I made 1,000 videos about this just a few months ago. What did the number come in at? Continuing jobless claims in the United States, 2 million. Wow, showing only 2 million people are still unemployed long-term and continuing claims. This is great news, but I'm still going with a 5% inflation rate. So let's go over the analysis. First, they'll raise your benefits up, then they'll apply the inflationary benchmark. If it's 5%, your benefits will step up 5%. Not just next year, lifetime, because once your benefits step up, they never step down. Then they'll remove the asset cap dating back to a 1980s law that says you can't have more than $3,000 in hand. Now you'll be able to have some stimulus checks in your hand and also stay on benefits. They're going to remove the income cap dating back to a 1960s law that says you can't have income and also stay on benefits. And then the marriage penalty is going to go away. You'll be able to do a pair dance and get married, or do a pair dance at the wedding. Viewers like Rob and Sandy will be able to get married and no longer fear loss of benefits, and benefits will be restored for others. Finally, if you're in the live chat and you see people with a purple hawk emoji next to their name, and you don't have one, consider joining right now. Yesterday, over 200 new Purple Hawks joined. Incredible growth. Why is it important to join? Because you should get this money. Who cares what checks are called? If someone gives you $25,000 and it alleviates $25,000 of the bills you have in the house, who cares what the check is called? And if you can get those checks, why not get them? When second stimulus was law, and it said there was going to be a $600 stimulus check, I said, show what? I'm going to get you $6,000. I didn't get fewer $6,000. I got them $14,000, like Tyrone family of four out of Boston for rent. Then in January when third stimulus was passed and people kept on talking about the $14 stimulus check, I kept on talking about, yeah, but there's $14,000 in there I'm going to get you. I didn't get viewers $14,000. I got them $32,000. I got them $18,000 for SNAP. I got them $27,000 for rent, because this is money that's available in these programs for you to get. By becoming a member, you're delivered daily from me, from the YouTube community page, a breakdown of all the big money that is in these packages. It's application based. This is your money that was passed by the federal government for you to have. And if you don't go get it, why not? Why not accept the money that's there? I deliver daily a breakdown of all this money delivered from me to you via the YouTube community page that you get as a Purple Hawk member. And when fourth stimulus becomes law, I'm going to go over every penny that you could pounce and get of this $3.5 trillion. Hawk, hawk. With that, let's get to the final 15 minutes of this video, starting right now. Here you go. Recon, done, deal. The $3.5 trillion recon is effectively done. The Democratic caucus on the Senate side has been polled two times over the last 2 weeks. And both times, every single Democratic senator saying they're passing it, and they're passing at $3.5 trillion. This is a historic day for the American people because everything that's in there is checks for you. Checks, checks, and more checks. Checks that Bernie Sanders has fought for a generation for and says a historic day for you and the American people. Here are some of the checks that are in there because we don't have the recon bill yet, but here are some of them. Checks for seniors and checks for workers and checks for a lot of other people. Free school meals for all checks, tax break checks, cheaper prescription medication checks, immigration reform checks, greener farming checks, for election checks, closing the digital divide checks. They can give fortunes to your local cities so they can offer you free internet. Then there's checks for clean energy, and here come my checks for my workers and also checks for my seniors. Workers, independent contractors checks, workers checks, union workers checks, and then Medicare expansion checks. Works checks for seniors, checks for hearing, checks for vision, checks for dental, and checks for improving the eligibility age. Let's cut over to the roads and bridges, the bipartisan. So the roads and bridges bill has been written. It's been on the Senate floor since Monday, and they've been voting on amendments, not the actual bill, but amendments of the the bipartisan since Monday. The voting results have been the following: that some of the amendments tried to kill the roads and bridges, failed. Great news, because remember, we have to have the roads and bridges pass as well, because the president won't give us just the recon. He has to have the roads and bridges as well as on his desk as well. So that's great news. Three other great things came from these amendments. Number one, they're doing the amendments first. So I had told you they're going Senate, House, then Senate. I didn't know if they're doing the amendments first on the Senate side or last. They're doing them first. So they're voting on each of the amendments. That's the first thing. Number two, that the bipartisan group that wrote up the bipartisan bill said that they're all aligned, Republicans and Democrats, to block the amendments. That if anything is thrown at them to sort of derail the roads and bridges from passing, they're blocking. That's great news as well. Number three, Leader Schumer has not really limited the amendments, but it looks like they're running out. Number four, Ron Portman says that he believes that the bipartisan will become law by Friday. I said that's wishful thinking as of this morning, but in a few seconds from now, I'm going to tell you he may be right. What? What's going on here? More about that in a second. Let's cut back to the recon, because I have to do this first, because I know I'll make people nervous if I don't. The recon, everyone has said, even up to a minute ago, is going for a vote first. The president, Nancy, Bernie, Chuck, Jalopal all says the recon is going for a vote first in the Senate and first for a vote in the House. Let's go over the president's comments initially. The president said, you can't send me just the roads and bridges because I won't sign it. The infrastructure bill, if only one comes to me, and that's the only one that comes to me, I'm not signing it. They have to come to me in tandem, the roads and bridges and the bipartisan and the recon. Then the president went on to say, I'm just not signing only the bipartisan and forgetting the rest of the stuff I propose, recon. I propose a significant other piece of legislation, recon, and they have to come to me together. Okay, great news there. Then we have Chuck confirming yesterday that the recon is going for a vote first. Then we have Bernie Sanders rushing to Nancy's office last Thursday. He's in the Senate, she's in the House, saying, Nancy, you're holding your position that the recon has to pass the Senate first. She said yes. And that is much of what she's always said. This is a quote from her earlier on when she said the following. As I said before, there won't be a bipartisan unless we have a recon bill passed first, plain and simple. In fact, I use the word ain't. There ain't going to be a bipartisan unless we have a recon passed first by the U.S. Senate. And then Jalapal, who's a House member, confirmed the same. We did a poll of our recent congressional Democrat members, and the overwhelming majority said they're not going to vote on the bipartisan without the recon as well. Okay, so great news there. So what's Chuck Schumer's representation yesterday, this morning, last week? I'm almost covering everything except with the last few minutes because I'm going to leave that separate. His representation is we're going to be done with both pieces of legislation as law by the August recess. Oh my goodness. He says the bipartisan and the recon will be law by the August recess. As of this morning, I said, I think maybe a few extra days. I said maybe a few extra days. Am I still holding that position? I am. I think a few extra days. And there's something really helping Chuck Schumer getting this to that point. This is the issue. And the issue is the senators have been in session for the longest period of time right now in nearly 15 years. And they've never been in session this long. And they're complaining because they're older. They're elder statesmen that they've been working 16-hour days every single day, including weekends. They have no more energy left. And they say, I just want to be done. I'm done. So this is really good news that they really want to get done. Now, let's cut to the breaking news happening minutes ago. I have to start by saying that there was a lot of breaking news that happened minutes ago. Some of it contradicts other breaking news. I was a little late coming on air because I kept on reading and I'm like, this one contradicts this one. So some of it doesn't make consistent sense. I'm going to make that very clear to you. I will insert my opinion at the end because it just some of it contradicts each other. The first thing was the following. That Ron Portman, of course, has been saying over the last few days that the roads and bridges will go to a final vote by Friday. I don't think it's going to get done. Ted Cruz appeared on Broadcast News this morning and said the bipartisan will go for a vote anytime. And then he said the recon will go for a vote afterwards. I said, yeah, sure, right. Yeah, right. That you determine when things go for a vote. Chuck Schumer said minutes ago that the recon and the bipartisan will pass within days. He didn't say which one goes first, but he said both of them will pass within days. That's incredible, great news. So what is the thing that confuses me is that there's a series of reports that says the bipartisan roads and bridges bill will end receiving amendments any minute, and that the roads and bridges bill will go to a final vote in the Senate tonight. What? Now that's why I'm confused. I'm very confused because wait a second. Chuck already said the bipartisan is not going for a vote first in the Senate. The recon is going for a vote first. So why is the bipartisan going for a vote first? That's the first thing that confuses me. I'm going to tell you how I'm confused so you can see me confused on air. Why is there reports that saying the roads and bridges going for the bill vote tonight? I don't understand that. And I don't understand why it's going first. Second, does first for the bill vote not mean first out of the Senate? Maybe that's what Chuck is differing on word interpretation. That maybe, let's say they both are approved out of the Senate, but they don't leave the Senate first. Maybe it's they don't leave it just sounds really weird. It's not at all what they've said before. That's the second thing. The third thing is, and this one is very clear, so this one doesn't confuse me, is that the Republicans have actually said, you know what, as to the roads and bridges, I think we're done with the amendments. So let's just pass the roads and bridges because we have a lot of amendments as Republicans to try to go after the recon from the Democrats. And that's going to take a while. Well, wait a second. That's sort of, that's not part of the game plan here. So I'm not saying I'm being cautious. I'm not saying I'm being worried. I'm just saying I'm being confused. Now, none of this seems to add up. It's all the quotes are seeming to overlap. I got to say, they're all from a conservative publication. So the conservative publication wants to slant the articles. But the articles that are different articles on the same site are contradicting each other. They're contradicting each other. So it doesn't make a lot of clear sense. The articles then, even at one point, say that, well, the roads and bridges will be done, by tonight, and then the recon will take them into the August recess. But the other article says it's not. Really, 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 I think it's just confusingly bad reporting, which makes it hard for me to report on the situation for you, because I don't know. I'm not on the floor watching these people vote. I'm not on the floor watching these people vote. Here is where the takeaway is at the moment. I believe that it sounds correct that the Republicans are done spending times on amendments for the roads and bridges. And I think that the Republicans will spend their efforts on the amendments to derail the recon. Number two, the reporting looked very clear in contrast when they talked about the amendments to the recon, your bill, and that they're doing the vote-a-rama on the Senate side first and not last. So that will save us some time as well. Leader Schumer, in his quote minutes ago, said that the recon and the bipartisan will again, he actually says recon, will be done by the August recess. So he's staying his position very clearly. Very, 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 very elaborate. Remember, these are Chuck Schumer's representations. These are not my representations. There's always someone that wants to sort of take the Chuck Schumer quote out of the sentence and say, LALATE said it. I didn't say it. I'm reporting what he says. So, for example, in early July, Chuck Schumer said they were going to get it done by July 4th. Then some people are taking the Chuck Schumer out of the sentence and say, you said we're going to get it by July 4th. No, I didn't. I said Chuck Schumer told you you're going to get it. I'm not your elected official. I actually have I don't have gray hair yet, or at least you don't see it. That's his representation. All right, let's cut to the bill. And that's certainly a big topic of discussion now. When we see the recon bill, it's not going to be law. Currently, we're sitting here with no recon bill, and we have an emoji, not bill yet. But when we see the recon bill, it's going to get modified. We actually know that. And it's not going to get modified by Republicans. It's going to get modified by Democrats. Because the Democratic senators and the Democratic House members have actually said it. The recon has been sitting in those subcommittees for weeks with no one really seeing it. And when it debuts on the Senate side, 50 Democrats want to modify it. And when it goes to the House side, 100 Democrats want to modify it. Now, there's also Republicans who want to blow it up as well. This is great news for you because it may be imperfect. It may be imperfect legislation. It may be modified. If you've been with this channel long enough, you have seen when legislation starts here and ends very different here. The prices change, they go up, they go down. The eligibility shrinks, the eligibility grows. The duration changes, things change by the minute. And so when you see the recon bill, repeat that emoji back, not law yet. Things change by the minute. And if there's any indication of that, we learned it this week with Cori Bush, Democratic progressive out of the 1st District of Missouri, representative for St. Louis. What did she do in 1 week? We started the week with the President of the United States saying, I'm not extending the eviction moratorium because it's unlawful and I don't think it's going to hold up in the Supreme Court. That's what he said, and his reasoning for what he said. She pushed day in, day out, just like a purple power. She pushed day in, day out. She sat on the Capitol steps and had to sit in to get his attention, as other progressives pushed as well. How did the weekend? Him extending the eviction moratorium, saying, I know maybe it won't hold up in the court, but I'm still going to extend it. You see how things changed completely 365 degrees from what the president said on Monday? You could have heard the president's statement on Monday and pouted and just, rolled up in a ball and said, oh, that's the end. He's not extending it. We're over. We're done. It's done. And then you could have been a Representative Bush, or you could have been a purple power saying, no, it's not done. I'm going to fight back. It's not done. This is not true. You need to fix this. She pushed. And after 3 days, she got it done. and I wish you to push as well. I'll see you next on Afternoons LA, which starts at 1 o'clock, our throwback show, and then a new Afternoons LA at 3 o'clock. Evenings LA is at 5 o'clock. We'll see if we see the developing details from Capitol Hill about the developing details about this final vote. And if we don't by the time of recording, but we do after the time the show starts to air, I will be in the live chat and updating you in the live chat as the developing details unfold. I told you this weekend's going to be a big weekend. I really have always said that. What is my personal opinion about timeline? I don't think Chuck is going to get it done by the August recess, but maybe a few days later, which means they're going to work over the weekend. I explained the issue of recess in the Afternoons LA broadcast and the mornings. So if you want to know more about what Senate in session or House in session means, it's covered in that broadcast because we are running a little bit long. Stay informed, stay focused. Have a beautiful noontime. I'll see you next on Afternoons LA. As always, subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. I want you part of this channel. Hit that subscribe button right now. Like the video, 2,000-3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. Stay informed, stay focused, and stay with LA for more.